What if I told you there's a city in San Mateo County with real estate that's not insanely expensive, has ocean views, and is only 15 minutes from downtown San Francisco? Welcome to Daly City. I'm gonna share with you guys a deep dive into why I think Daly City is such a great place to live. We're gonna check out this super awesome restaurant that we just found on Instagram that has a Michelin star, and then I'm gonna take you inside some local real estate so you have an idea on what things cost in Daly City. So Daly City is just south of San Francisco. It's west of South San Francisco and San Bruno, and it's bordered on the west by the Pacific Ocean. So it's really centrally located, super close to San Francisco, kind of depending on where you want to go. If you want to pop down 280 to get down to work in Silicon Valley, that's not going to be miserable either. And then we are really close to Highway 1, getting out to Pacifica and go all the way down south on the coast. It is super beautiful. And because of the weather that we have here in Daly City, we get a little bit of a fog belt. So it's always mild, it's always temperate. You do get a lot more fog and clouds than you will a little bit more south in the peninsula, but that's just kind of part of the allure if this is the kind of climate that you're looking for. Now there's so much nature in Daly City. Let's start with Thornton State Beach. It's like rugged coastline, it's dog friendly, you get beautiful coastal views with actually even equestrian and hiking trails, and there's a beautiful platform that just overlooks the Pacific. I just love it there. There's also Muscle Rock State Park, which has pretty dramatic cliffs, and there's a lot of trails. It's only a 20-minute drive from Main Street. There's Gellert Park, where we kind of shot the first part of this video, Palisade Park, which has hiking trails and city views, Marchbank Park, which has a rec center, neighborhood park, clubhouse, and picnic areas, and it's pretty close to actually the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. And then there's Fort Funston, which is one of the most dog-friendly places in the whole Bay Area. It's a great place to bring your dog for off-leash running around and tiring them out. There's Crocker Gate Trailhead, which is a great entry point to San Bruno Mountain State Park, which has some pretty awesome hiking trails in there. And then Lake Merced Park, which is a fantastic and super popular recreation area for running, hiking, kayaking, and golfing. Now for topography in Daly City, there's not really any neighborhoods that are totally pancake flat. It's kind of rolling hills, basically as you kind of go from the bay all the way up to 280 and out to the coast. You kind of get a lot of natural rolling hills, and that's kind of what you're gonna see in most of Daly City. So Daly City has a really fascinating and super rich history. So originally, before the 1900s, it was part of the Rancho Buri Mexican land grant, and then the early 1900s, Daly City was named after a local businessman named John Daly, who developed the whole city. And then there was the 1906 earthquake in San Francisco, and so a ton of people started moving out of San Francisco down throughout the whole peninsula, including Daly City, because it was so close to San Francisco. And then in the 1940s and 50s, kind of right after the housing boom after World War II, these kind of little box developments from a guy named Henry Dolger, who was a well-known developer at the time. A lot of these homes are called Dolger homes because of the style that I'm gonna show you a little bit later. And actually, the housing concept that Dolger pioneered was pretty revolutionary at the time. And given the two major shopping centers in Daly City, Serramonte and Westlake, these were pretty pioneering nationally at the time for the type of malls that they were. From a real estate perspective, Daly City is one of the most affordable towns in San Mateo County. You're looking at average and median pricing in Daly City of about $1.2 million. The lowest sales price in the last year was sub 700,000, and the highest was about $2 million. And condos in Daly City are going to range anywhere from $500,000 all the way up to about $800,000 to $1 million. It's kind of hard to get something that's even more expensive than that. Now we're gonna head down to Westlake, and I'm gonna show you one of the most popular shopping areas in Daly City and what it's like. So there's two big shopping centers in Daly City. Right now we're at Westlake Shopping Center. The other big one is Serramonte, which has all the huge stores. But I want to show you this little spot here. It's really cool. We got the string lights up here. There's a Nick's Greeks. There's Blue Line Pizza, which is my total favorite. We've got a Hey Tea across the street, which is super popular, I am told. There's a blow dry bar, Sourdough Company. There's a Walgreens, Trader Joe's. So if you live in Daly City, you kind of don't need to leave Daly City if you didn't want to, because everything is just right here. Now, the dining scene in Daly City, there's so much good international cuisine. It's amazing. Probably more diverse than most other towns on the whole peninsula. And in fact, the Filipino dining scene here is amazing. There's so many good places to eat here. There's taquerias. I mean, we could do a whole video probably, or two, just on all the good cuisine in Daly City. Oh, we're just walking around and there's a shoe store here. And I'm kind of a big fan of the Nike Air Force Ones, so maybe they got something cool in here. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
This is really cool. We're shooting a video here about Daly City, and I need some new kicks.
Okay, right on. You came to the right place. Welcome to the 1985 gallery. I'm Chris.
Yeah, what do you think would be good?
Let me,
an 11, so I thought.
So you're looking for like runner style, okay?
Yeah, well, I wear them all for work.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna work out in them.
No worries, no worries. Give me 1 sec. Let me go jump in the back real quick.
And if you got the Cortez too, that's cool.
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
Thanks. Oh, wow. That's cool. An original pair of Air Jordans. I assume they're pretty valuable here. Feels good. I usually buy my Air Force Ones online, and here I got the Nike Pegasus Premium. I never spent that much on a pair of shoes in my life, but I'm just feeling good. I think they're gonna be comfortable, and maybe people will think that I have good shoe game. It's cool. We got a Peninsula bookstore in a shopping center. I love this. I'm a huge book guy. All right, and then over here, there's a Ross Dress for Less, Chipotle, UPS store. Kind of gives you an idea. This is just a typical mall. So we're just on our way over to Kankin Eatery. It's a Thai place, and it's been blowing up on Instagram. It's been in the Michelin book the last couple of years. So I've not been there before, but I figured if we're trying to capture some of the best of Daly City, we got to go check this place out. So we just parked, we're walking over to Kankin, which is just a few doors down. Of course, we've got the Westlake branch of the Daly City Public Library here. It's actually 4 branches in Daly City, including this one is Sermoni, John Daly branch, and then a 4th branch. So that's nice to have so many libraries. That's an indicator on how seriously a town takes its education. Just having a good community gathering place, a place to go relax and learn and read. I love that. I actually used to be on the board of a library foundation for 4 years, and I care a lot about them. Come on in. Hi, how's it going? Wow, this menu's pretty cool. Well, first of all, it's a weekday and we're having brunch because it's the brunch menu. We're shooting this right the day before 4th of July, and it's like almost every table's filled here. All right, so we got some Kankin signatures: berry pancake, matcha buttermilk pancake, Kankin French toast, golden pork. The reviews all said, okay, this corn fritters, Brussels sprouts and fries, all kinds of omelets, scrambles, green curry spaghetti, Thai basil bacon, burgers, mango and sticky rice. Oh my God, to come back here with my family. This looks pretty legit. Wow, oh my gosh. Thank you, looks amazing. Thanks. Look at that egg, matcha pancake. You got your chicken and waffle here. Man, this is definitely creative and fancy. I mean, even the presentation's beautiful. Good. That's good, I like it. And look at these potatoes. All right, so survey says amazing food. Would love to come back here sometime, and glad we found this on Instagram. Come check out this Michelin-starred place. All right, I want to show you guys a typical house in Daly City. These are pretty cool, kind of these row houses here. So you're gonna have more space in between here. Let's take a look and walk, but we're gonna have a little bit more space here in between houses than you will find in San Francisco. But when you compare to, say, a town a little bit more south on the peninsula, like San Mateo, for example, you're gonna kind of find a 5-foot setback on both sides. So you would have like let's say the property line is here, you'd have 5 feet this way, another 5 feet this way. I'm not sure what this is here, but if I had to guess, maybe 3 feet. So let's go inside and we'll take a look. But a lot of these homes are on lot sizes that are very common for Daly City. This is about a 3,500 square foot lot. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and it's about 1,600 square feet. So house is not totally remodeled. Obviously there's others that will be in more superior condition, but I think this one's still really nice and give you kind of good idea on what your dollar can get you. So this is kind of common for this type of floor plan for Daly City. What's cool is, I mean, obviously there's different types of homes, but for this style of home, You have a dining room over here. We've got the family room, living room, kind of all in one. And then the kitchen's over here. Now, if you wanted to, you could take out this whole wall and open it up. If it's load bearing, then you just need to work with a structural engineer to get that load supported. But overall, I think this floor plan is pretty sweet. So come take a look over here. And kitchen is very simple. Okay, so if I were buying this house, well, I remember actually when we bought our first house, it was countertops like this. Ours were brown. They were actually, not as, this is much nicer. We had like pink tile in our bathroom and everything, and that's all we could afford, right? And we lived in it for 7 years until we had saved up enough to do a much more significant project. So depending on my financial situation, if I just was grateful to own the real estate and get in, I would just let this be. Or if you kind of wanted to do a little bit of freshening up, I would paint the kitchen cabinets in here, $2,000 to $3,000 at the most, no big deal. And then I'd replace probably the appliances a little bit. I'd replace the flooring. And there's a cool skylight here, but I'd also consider opening this whole space up into the living area. You can also see the fridge here is not a counter depth fridge. So personally, I'm a huge fan of counter depth fridges, which are only 24 inches deep. They do unfortunately cost quite a bit more, but I would go ahead and remove the cabinetry above, and that way you could get a taller fridge in there that's a little bit more shallow, and that would just kind of clean things up. I'm a big fan in small spaces of really good design because it can just kind of make things feel a lot better. But I do like the induction cooktop, double oven, always nice. And then if we look in the hallway here, just more storage. We have the cold air return for the furnace. And then I'm really excited to show you guys in a minute the downstairs, which is a really cool feature about this house. But I'll show you down here. We've got 3 bedrooms. I'm not gonna do a deep dive here because these are super simple, but bedroom number 1 here, kind of nice view across the way to the other house. We've got the 2nd and 3rd bedroom here. So these are facing the street and they have dual pane windows, hardwood floors. These aren't the type of bedrooms where you'd be putting in a king size bed. I think it might be a little ambitious, but anything smaller than that I think would be fine. And then this is the primary. You could put a king in here because this is a little bit bigger. And then let's take a look. This is nice. There's actually a really big walk-in closet here with some built-ins. And you guys know my closet test. Pretty good on a little bit of an angle, but for Daly City, this is a really good closet. And then the bathroom here is probably original is my guess. Now, the easiest thing to do, and that you may or may not be familiar with this, but I would consider reglazing all the tile in here. Of course, you could take this down to the studs and spend $20,000 to $30,000 on a bathroom remodel, maybe less, it's a small size, but it's not like a $5,000 thing. There's a company that you could have come out here, like say Mr. Bathtub, and they could reglaze all the tile to a kohler white, for example, and it would just look way fresh. You would need to remove the shower door here and replace it with a new shower door or a curtain, remove some of the hardware, but by the time you're done, it would look literally like it's brand new. You might consider replacing the tile floor. You could reglaze floor, but once the floor kind of gets worn from the new glazing, then it can chip because you can still see what's underneath there if it chips. So kind of walking surface is less exciting, but you could replace the floor. And then I'd probably reglaze this and reglaze the back, replace the window. Again, this is super lightweight stuff. The most important thing here is you get a good floor plan in a good location with a really good view. All right, now let's go downstairs, and I'm really excited to show you that. All right, so we do have some steep steps here, but this is, I'm too young for this, but this is what used to be called a rumpus room. No one really says that nowadays, but that's what these were called back then. Now, this was originally part of the garage. The garage is on the other side of this wall, and then behind me is another room, which I think you're really gonna like. But that's what I love about a lot of these very common floor plans in Daly City, is how much space you get down here. Now, this room was originally just, like I said, unpermitted space, but a number of years ago, my clients ended up getting this space permitted. I think it's about 240 square feet. They enlarged the window size, and this is kind of what makes the house about 1,600 square feet. I would for sure replace the carpeting, and otherwise though, it's pretty clean. All right, let's show the garage, which is super awesome. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. This is like 3 times the size of my garage in Burlingame. This is just, think of all this. In America, we're consumers. Think of all the stuff that you could put in here. You can see there's a few cracks here, which is not great, but we do see cracking in garage slabs all the time because they didn't necessarily put rebar in the slabs way back in the day. So we do see that. You can see kind of it drops off here quite a bit, but I believe this is original maybe for some drainage. And then if we look up here, you can see the insulation. You can see the ductwork. Whenever you see white ductwork like this and kind of wet around here, it's usually a sign that it's asbestos. Now, the only way we know it's asbestos is if you were to do asbestos testing, which isn't typically done as part of the sales process. But I always tell my clients that if you see this, it's highly likely to be asbestos. And personally, if I was spending $1 million or $2 million or more on a house, I would want to remove that. You can encapsulate it as well, which I believe is safe. Don't quote me on it. But easiest thing is just completely have it removed. And because this is highly accessible in the garage, the labor costs wouldn't be as bad. And you can go on Yelp and you can find asbestos abatement firms. You can reach out to me. I can share with you a few that we've used in the past. But anyways, that all ties into the furnace, which is over here. We have a hot water heater that was just replaced about a year ago. In California, hot water heaters are required to be braced and strapped like this per California code. And if they're in a garage, they need to be 18 inches off the ground. And there needs to be smoke and carbon monoxide detectors in certain points in the house. So even in an as-is sale, these are not negotiable items. The seller must do these two things prior to selling the house. Now back here is the other room that I was telling you about. This is pretty sweet. It's kind of like the front room, but just in the back of the house. Probably replace the carpeting in here, but just you can kind of see with a floor plan like this, to have it on the ground level, but a normal ceiling height is pretty unusual. It is common in lots of parts of Daly City, but if you go but more south on the peninsula, you're just not really gonna see this. And I think this would be a very popular floor plan if we saw it in more places. So it's a little unusual to access the yard through the garage, but again, not uncommon for the type of home that we're looking at. In a perfect world, I think it's nice if you have some access from a living area or from a kitchen area. But again, this is just, I'm totally nitpicking here. This is pretty sweet for what it is. And I like that we have an attached garage here because that allows you to have all this space in the backyard. Now it's a little hard to see today because we're in Daly City and it's really foggy. And I thought about waiting to shoot this on a day where it's really sunny, but also I want to give you, if you're watching this and you're thinking about buying in Daly City, you might as well see what it really is like here. And that's my goal with my channel here, is just to be honest with you guys about all these different areas where I sell real estate. So if I were redoing this yard, well, gosh, I don't even want to speculate what I could do because there's so many fun things that I could do. You could have a hot tub, barbecue, probably too small to do bocce ball, but I'd probably do some painting on the outside of the house. You do have the utility poles here, which are the lines, which obviously no one is a huge fan of, but it kind of comes with the price point. But behind this, it's a little hard to see now, but I'm actually looking at the beach and I can see the waves crashing. Can't really hear them. I can hear a little traffic, but I mean, hey, where else can you buy a home for $1.2 million or so? And you can see a beach. That's sweet. So if you're thinking about buying a home in Daly City, South San Francisco, San Bruno, anywhere kind of in this general price range, I work with people in all price ranges. And as long as you're nice, that's my most important criteria. So if I can be a resource for you, all my contact info is below. Please reach out if you'd like. If you're thinking about making a move anywhere in San Mateo County or in particular Daly City, I'd love to be your Peninsula real estate resource of choice. I hope you guys found this video super informative and helpful. If you're curious to learn a little bit more about some of the other most affordable areas in San Mateo County, check out this video. I'll see you guys on the next one.